I'm not sure the U.S. Strategic Reserve is what they said it was going to be, or at least that's what it looked like last night for a moment, but then it came back. This morning, we have weaker than expected job growth. What a shocker. This eventually brings in the Fed, or it actually weakens the dollar, which frankly is the savior of the crypto market right now. I have read in major chat rooms with guys I used to work with at Goldman that this whole thing where, demand for European stocks, demand for the euro, things like that could actually explode. So euro higher, dollar lower. Dollar lower, gold and Bitcoin higher. And on this fact, our fate rests until they've got a major surprise for us on crypto. Now, let's talk about last night. For anybody who hasn't heard the news, they signed the paperwork for a Bitcoin strategic reserve, okay, where they basically said we're not going to sell the Bitcoin that we have. I'm like, well, that's a relief. You're not going to dump on our heads after you dump the meme coin on our heads. Okay. So thank you for not dumping the Bitcoin on our heads. Last I looked, the strategic reserve was about buying 1 million Bitcoin over 5 years. I'm assuming that's going to get discussed today. But, when this news came out, I went back and thought about Cynthia Loomis saying that, yeah, we're not going to be able to get this done. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now they got it done, but everyone's waiting for this summit today. And even though the dollar is going lower, and that's very constructive for crypto, what happens with these characters if there's no announcement today? Like, they need to make an announcement. Now, here's the good news. They've been doing this all year, and they even did it last year. They get the market leaning in one direction. Everybody gets negative or hysterical, and then they release the real good news. They get everyone bearish before they say something. They did it with the weekend pump, which people sold into. Then last night, everything was sell the news, and then they brought it back. And really all that's happening in crypto is Bitcoin is still at 88, and everyone just gets liquidated. It's like the casino, 250 liquidated up, 250 liquidated down, back, forth. And the only thing that's really happening is that people are just getting liquidated. And I'm assuming someone is buying spot here, right? Some large players are taking advantage of these liquidation events to get as much spot as they can. Probably because long-term, like I said, with a massively lower dollar, there's a huge value proposition for crypto. Now, in the meantime, we're all going to sit around and do the thing that I never thought I would ever hear myself say, which is literally the fate of this market hangs in the government. Like, whatever these guys in this little panel, I mean, if this is some gigantic photo op at the White House, I really hope they got something, right? Normally crypto is like, yeah, we're going to go outside the government. We want like McAfee style privacy. Okay. All right. So let's keep a positive attitude, because I don't know what they're doing. I don't. And I'm sure a lot of people are like, what is this? Okay. Hopefully it's these Soros guys making everybody bearish before they do something bullish. That's what I hope it is. All right. We'll go over the news. We'll look at the charts. Thomas, up only from here. We made it to Friday, Old Smoky. This is true. Yav, Horace, Taz Pinball, the moment we've all been waiting for. Vanessa, Justin Ranch, Crypto Scam. The employment data is terrible. Yeah, it's been terrible for 13 months. I just haven't told you about it. Miguel, holy schmoly. Tyson, another weekend dip. Oh, dude, the weekends. Everyone's like, yeah, NASDAQ's going to be 24 hours. Crypto's like, can we close on Friday? Can we stop the weekend thing? Can we stop the weekend crypto like monster volatility? It's like, wow. Right. But yeah, stock market's going 24 hours. We have that news. All right, let's kick in. Let's try to figure this out. Okay. So, this is not a surprise, right? The geopolitics, the trade, the deficit, the $37 trillion problem, right? He's not looking at the stock market. He doesn't care. And that's not a surprise. Stock market has been fed by an irresponsible Federal Reserve for a very long time. And they got a $37 trillion debt problem, and they got to figure out how they're going to pay their bills. So I don't know what kind of theater with the tariffs. We like them, we don't like them, we have them, I don't know what that's about. We'll go over that briefly. But he's trying to get something geopolitical done while he buys some time to figure out what to do about the debt. This is just my guess, right? In other words, when he says, I don't care about the stock market, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Because if he presides over a stock market crash, well, yeah, he's not going to get anything done. Like, people will turn on him very quickly if they do something, create a major stock market problem. Now, with this statement, do I think that these guys exist to pump stocks? No, I don't. These overvalued tech companies, like, why should he feel sorry for guys that, can sell a portion of their stock and harness $1 billion? We don't need to feel sorry for Web 2. We need to build Web 3. President Trump to sign executive orders and speak to the White House Crypto Summit at 3 p.m. Eastern. Okay, that's cool. Hopefully this show is better than what they did last night. I in some ways, I can't even believe they did what they did last night as like a standalone event. Like, oh, we're creating the strategic reserve. Okay. With the Bitcoin we already have. Okay. So now, like I said, our whole existence, right, unless the dollar crashes, hinges on what they say today. And I hate that, right? I was kind of hoping for something like, well, this is the big sweeping roadmap, some kind of plan. Should government spending count as GDP? Milton Friedman said no. Government spending cooks the books. So what does GDP look like without government spending? This is the problem. Now, if you want to know what is really going to help crypto, it's this, because they're going to figure this out eventually. There has to be a growth industry and there has to be a wealth effect in this country. It's over in the stock market, right? So where are they going, right? Where are they going? They have to come to us. Okay, on the employment front, U.S. non-farm payrolls are 150K versus 160K expected, meaning the U.S. economy added 150,000 jobs when they should have added 160,000, according to estimates. The unemployment rate is higher, right? Government payroll still up 11K. Okay. U.S. payrolls revised, right? Up 125 and December revised upward. So that's good. So that's a mixed bag and not a disaster. Now, this thing with the tariffs, right? I don't think tariffs affect crypto, but I do think tariffs affect the dollar. So whatever it is they're doing, if they can keep the dollar moving lower, I'm okay with it. But I think Doomberg is starting to get momentum, criticizing him for, okay, it's 25% tariffs, and then 3 days later, it's not. And then it is, and then it's not. And are we going to do this with crypto? Are we going to go back and forth? I'm just asking for a friend, right? So hopefully we have something definitive and we're not going to do this whole tariff game, right? Because I'm kind of hating this. Fear greed is still really low, right? It's still at 34. Now, it's not at 15 because, frankly, it just stopped going down and people are hopeful about the crypto summit. And this is another factor holding up the market. This is no one wants to touch it. And no one sees a value in crypto outside of whatever the government does with it, which I think is the wrong way to look at it, right? I mean, every altcoin is not going to go in a strategic reserve. everything in Web3 and AI is not going to be in the strategic reserve. So in many ways, now that I talked this out, I might actually be relieved once this is over, because the government's going to do whatever it's going to do in the market. The market will like find some equilibrium, and then we can go back to trading crypto, right? Like nobody cares about anything except will the crypto market, will they moon our bags? And I think they have to get us off of that. Seriously. I mean, when in the history of crypto have we been this dependent on the government to move the market? So, I mean, again, we're going to find out today. Hopefully these characters that are attending the summit understand the stakes. Now, so today, this is Sailor, right? So today it's a big deal. You know, we created a strategic reserve. So we changed the name on our existing Bitcoin account. Good. Now, hopefully Mike is posting this knowing there's more coming. These guys are never going to live this down if they bull post this and it's BS. I can't believe that. I just can't. I can't believe that they would set this up and disappoint all of us. And I think that's why the market is not down, right? Trump says globalists are behind stock market sell-off. Well, you know, I have no doubt that there are parties out there that would like to see Trump get blamed for either a stock market problem or a recession. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt it. But the stock market is down because it's overvalued. It's just overvalued, right? And momentum has been lost. That's the critical point. So if anything, crypto is a canary in a coal mine, meaning crypto is a warning sign that something's going to happen eventually in stocks. You want to know what I think is going to happen in stocks? Nothing. It's going to be like the ultimate bad thing that can happen. Like it's like what happened to crypto before the election. Nothing happens. Nothing. They just sit there, right? No one wants to buy. No one wants to sell it when it's down. Nobody wants to buy it because it's not interesting. It just sits there. So Trump's crypto summit will discuss adding Bitcoin and 4 other coins. Attendees reveal. Okay, great. You know, I don't understand. I mean, I guess the purpose of doing this is to make everybody go, wait a minute, right before they do something good. Get the sell the fact over with. That's possible. I mean, again, we do have Soros guys and market guys advising him. So we don't want the president to step up to the podium for a major announcement and have everybody sell the fact. They did the sell the fact last night. Just, you know, so it's a good strategy. It's very sophisticated if that's what's going on. The CFTC finished its CEO forum on digital assets. Okay. So we had, we had Brad, we had all these guys, everyone's wearing suits, taking pictures. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, look, to be honest with you, this is cringe. This is not crypto. This is not crypto, right? It's good that they're not hostile. And in a sense, we've gotten regulatory clarity because they've dropped all the lawsuits. And then they should just get out of our way. Just get out of our way and let us build something, or let us trade it, or let us devalue the currency or whatever, right? But this, I don't know. All right, so here's the state of crypto taxation around the world. Okay, so here's the good news. They got to do something about taxation. They got to do this. I mean, that has to go through Congress, but they got to do something to like create the Web3 bill. Like, here's my hope for this thing. That they make it as not just a strategic reserve, but they make like the digital assets bill, where they say, we want to invest in this stuff by cutting taxes on transactions on anything that's deemed to be done here. Anything, right? In other words, that gets Vitalik on a plane, that gets, I don't know, that gets everybody on a plane over here to get the transaction task treatment. ETH may get it anyway because the orange man owns ETH. But what they got to do is they got to get themselves a tax break. Should not be paying capital gains every time you have to pay somebody with Bitcoin or Litecoin or Bitcoin Cash or any of these digital cash solutions, even Solana or XRP. Like, the value of XRP is if they make it into money. And the way they make it into money is to get rid of these transaction taxes. I mean, you don't pay if you switch, if you come from another country and I go to Switzerland and I convert dollars into Swiss francs, I'm not getting taxed on any differences in the exchange rate if I go there for a month. It's just money for money, right? If they were smart, that's what they would get done. Okay, so it's essentially to bring Bitcoin onshore. So probably this is the most bullish thing that they've done because, one of the things that they may be able to direct is investment in Bitcoin mining, right? In other words, make sure these miners are exploding and huge and can generate energy. I mean, there's a lot the government could do when it comes to making sure that there's funds flowing into mining for Bitcoin and digital assets in general. Right? They basically want Bitcoin mined here. They don't want it in Belarus. They don't want it in Kazakhstan. They don't want it in any of these places. They want it done here. And I get that. And I think these crypto mining stocks, like I was telling you yesterday, I mean, we can look at the charts, but I mean, these stocks have been destroyed. They've been destroyed. They are sitting down there. Some of them are like back where they were at this time 2 years ago. So again, the best way to take over the best way to get a Bitcoin reserve is to get people to start taking over mining companies. Now, is the government going to buy a mining company tomorrow? No, but they can invest. I mean, he gave Sam Altman $500 billion for data centers. Seriously. He's like, I was one of the first things he did. Right. So hopefully, I mean, again, with the way politics works, all these guys at the crypto summit were the guys that wrote the big checks to get him in office, and hopefully they're getting something out of it. I mean, that's really like the big hope. Like, he's really not going to drag all these people to the White House, make a speech, and not do something. So he's going to do something. We just don't know what it is. And hopefully it's like the biggest thing anyone's ever seen, really. Right? Because, everyone's trying to tell me what happened last night was good. I don't know, man. For me, I would have preferred him saying, yeah, okay, here's a 90-day roadmap to beginning to buy 1 million Bitcoin. But okay, I mean, they're doing what they're doing, and I don't want to get bearish when they want me to get bearish. I'm not bearish. I'm just confused. Algorand linked Exodus wet wallet goes public. Wow. Right. These American-made cryptos, man, I'm telling you, somewhere in here, there's freaking gold. There's freaking gold, right? Okay, so, reality is setting in that this requires congressional approval, right? Which is why I can't believe they haven't discussed the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Hopefully that gets discussed today, right? So they established it, and will they be able to add to it? Yeah, Congress, and I'm really hoping the state of Texas comes through, speaking of that, right? The great state of Texas is like, look, Bitcoin is in limited supply, and we got to lead the country in this. And if the federal government doesn't meet expectations, I'm hoping the state of Texas does. I guess my attitude is somebody has to do something. And I'm really happy the market is okay. I think the reason the market is okay is because the dollar is really done. Like, once this is over with, like, they'll go up and down, up and down, up and down, and then we'll see about the dollar. Okay, tech stocks closed below the 200-day moving average for the first time since the bull market started in 2023. Now, when you have something like this, if you didn't know what it was, it wouldn't be unreasonable for that market to retrace 62%. It wouldn't be. If it was crypto, it could go all the way up and all the way down. If it was like Ski Mask Dog or any other meme coin, it would just, correct 50%. And I think if you had a 50% retracement, and this is just from 2023, if you had a 50% retracement in this, you would have like world-ending stuff with the Fed cutting rates. I just think this is not an investment anyone's going to want in 12 months. It's priced for perfection. Crypto is not priced at all. Crypto's down, altcoins down 80%. Okay, crypto czar. US will not sell any Bitcoin. Hopefully that Mt. Gox Bitcoin that was being moved is being moved to either Michael Saylor or the government, excuse me. And the casino goes on, right? Now, if you want to see something bullish, every time you see these headlines, I think it's bullish because they just continue to liquidate people. And I don't know how anybody's got any trading capital left after seeing this kind of numbers. 255 million in 60 minutes. They're just taking everybody's money off the table, right? They're taking everyone's money off the table, and they're taking your capital, and then they're taking all the spot. Bitcoin is still a rare treasure. ETH is completely undervalued, and Solana and XRP are fast money, and the dollar is going lower. I mean, the bullish case has never been greater, and everyone is still bearish. I think the only reason bullish sentiment is at 35% is because the market stopped going down. It didn't go up, but it didn't go down either. But 35% is still way too low. They got fertile ground to get this thing going. Okay, so yeah, this wasn't exactly what we looked for. That's why it cracked last night, but it came back, right? That's the strategic reserve headline. Budget neutral strategies to buy additional Bitcoin for the reserve. So that's an interesting term, budget neutral strategies. I guess that means if we take money from tariffs, we can put it into Bitcoin, which would be a very interesting little stunt, right? In other words, if we make money taxing other countries, we can use it to buy Bitcoin, and then people might turn around and support the tariffs. That could be one interesting stunt. Now, this, I hope, is bullish, right? Because, you know, Michael Saylor can't come out and say, I'm disappointed, but he can say, okay, let's add to it. And hopefully they got more coming. Hopefully this statement means we got more coming. And hopefully he's already been briefed, which is why he's kind of being positive. I'm glad he's positive, right? But there's a lot of pressure on these guys to do something today. And I hope they get it done. I expect many G20 nations to take notice and eventually follow America's leadership for a crypto reserve. Okay. And this guy is like, what if all countries start buying Bitcoin at once? Crypto bros, right? I wish that it could be everybody in the general public everywhere hits the green button at the same time, trying to get away from fiat. That's what I wish. Right. And hopefully that's what we get back to. White House says Bitcoin is digital gold. 24-hour trading on the NASDAQ coming soon. Right. We anticipate our timeline for the second half of 2026. Excuse me. Just kidding on soon. Right. Okay. So here's World Liberty, and this is what they own. I don't know if owning Tron is like a paid promotion where Tron invests in World Liberty and then they buy Tron. I don't know if SUI is the same thing, but the bottom line is they are running an ETH-based DeFi platform. Like sometimes I think what World Liberty does could be more impactful than what the government does, even though the government can be like, they can do it in bigger size. These guys can connect with the private sector and send a message. Okay. All right. Antivirus still in the doldrums, but here's the good news. As I'm told last night, Talking McAfee is coming. So they're going to get around the Twitter thing by getting John McAfee talking. I listened to Janet on the Twitter space last night talking about how the masses will eventually get to crypto. And frankly, it was so inspirational. All it takes is frankly for me or somebody else to get the hype train on Talking McAfee. Because we know, because we all follow what goes on in crypto, seems like everybody wants to be John McAfee these days. There's only one. And he's going to be talking soon. All right, let's go to TA. All right. So XRP has resistance at 259. So this has got to break out. We're now at the point where people want to buy the sharp down moves. They get it. Now they have to be willing to pay higher prices. So here was your 13 top in Bitcoin. You got the dip. Good. There's the dip. Now we got to see if they keep going. We got to see if they keep going, right? Okay. Ethereum, right? 4-hour chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be done. Should be done. And I'm hoping at a minimum, it's 25.50. I think ETH has got a lot to benefit from because some kind of strategic government program is going to have to run on a layer 1. Period. Okay, so let's check what's happening with the dollar. Okay, the dollar has still massive room to go lower. I think this is the story. This is the story. That you got a lot of room to go down in the dollar. This employment data is terrible, and I'm happy that Bitcoin is holding right around the 200-day moving average at 86. Okay, I have not seen my daughter in 6 months. I am departing to go see her today, so I know this was a super quick show, and I appreciate you understanding. If there is a huge announcement, I will try to get live and get content out after that. But for now, that's it for the market update. We'll see you next time.